We are day 8 with a question about, is it thyroid or menopause? So many of you ask questions about your thyroid. What's wrong with my thyroid? I'm gaining weight. I don't feel right. I think it's at my thyroid, but I don't know how to get it balanced. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Welcome. Happy Thursday. So glad to see you today. All right, let's dive into it. So many of you asked questions, and I forgot to look this morning because there might even be more questions since I looked up last time. We're doing your one hormone thing questions. If you didn't get to submit your question, please do so. Yes, more questions. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to do more questions. All right. It's saying that there's a problem with my internet connection, so I got to address that. Give me 1 second. Hopefully everyone is, I know we're on the internet, so I'm not sure what the problem is. All right. Hey, Dana, how are you? So hopefully you guys are hearing me and you're seeing me. So let's get started. We're going to talk about thyroid, but wait, I just saw hot off the press a bunch of questions that look really good. I noticed in a post back in March, you said that without testosterone, the lights never completely come on. I am postmenopausal and only taking progesterone. Can you elaborate? Yes, I can. So we've got to have estrogen and progesterone just for even baseline healthy functioning. But testosterone, oh my gosh, it is what puts the mo in your mojo. It's really... It's the male hormone, right? And men have higher levels of testosterone. This is why they are confident, assertive, and driven, because their dopamine is high. They have great bone mass and muscle mass because of their higher levels of testosterone. And when we women don't have it, we just don't feel right. We don't feel like ourselves. So you have got to get your testosterone levels checked the right way and take testosterone supplementation if you are deficient, which I find most women are. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's going pause due to poor internet connection, pause due to poor internet connection. So I'm not sure why that's happening. And I'm not sure if can you give me a shout out and let me know if you are seeing me and hearing me or not, because I'm not sure what's happening here. My whole thing has frozen, so I'm thinking that it's not. I'm going to get back on. Give me a second. All right, let's see. Is it going to stop flashing? No, it's doing it still. All right, let's see. Let's try this again. I don't know why we're having this problem. Let's try again. All right, I think we're back. No, it says pause due to poor connection. All right, I don't understand. It's good for you, Ladine. Okay, and Maribel. Okay, great. I don't know. Hey, Ladine. I don't know what's going on with it. It's the Instagram one that's going crazy. So I don't know why. I don't know. All right, let's get into it though. So we talked a little bit about testosterone. So when I had all those health problems, and I weighed 243 pounds. I had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, all the things that I had, like hair loss, no sex drive. I felt terrible and I slept all the time and it was really sucky. I thought I had a thyroid problem, like probably a lot of you do, right? At midlife, we have these symptoms. I'm tired. I'm gaining weight. Doesn't that equal thyroid? Constipated thyroid, right? Hair loss. And we go to our doctor and we get our thyroid checked. And then what do they tell us? Your thyroid's fine. And you're like, am I crazy? What's wrong with me? And it wasn't until I did that many, many times and I finally found out a root cause approach and I got the right test done and I had them read the right way. Bam, I had a thyroid problem. So for all the years before that, when I was suffering and thought I'm crazy because I think I have a thyroid problem, but none's showing up on the test. I didn't know. I wasn't doing the right tests and I wasn't reading them the right way. So when I did that, oh my gosh, yes, I had a thyroid problem. Now, luckily, because I was working with someone who understood a comprehensive hormonal approach and they weren't thinking, oh, what's the one thing? Let me just check her thyroid. And that's the only issue. Because if she had, I would have never gotten better. I would have never lost 100 pounds. I would have never healed from all the health problems I had because it's never one hormone. If you hear nothing else for today, that's what I want you to hear. If you can hear anything, because it keeps flashing in and out, poor internet connection. I don't know how that's possible because my laptop's on the same internet. So anyway, that was the situation. And, thank God she knew to check salivary cortisol levels so I could see what those salivary cortisol levels were and know that they were tanked, which is often the reason why your thyroid is tanked. And then some people are like, is it menopause or is it my thyroid? Which is it? And this is why you need a comprehensive, you need all your hormones looked at. It can't just be one hormone or you're going to miss the point. All these hormones interact together. It's like a symphony and they either make beautiful music or they make crappy music that sounds like nails on a chalkboard. So you never want to just get one thing checked, not just your thyroid or just your sex hormones, excuse me, or just your cortisol. You've got to get them all checked. So finally, when I did the right tests and read them the right way. So what were the tests that I was doing as board certified OBGYN that are like the tests we doctors do? We're taught to do this. We do a thyroid profile. Maybe many of you have had this, which is TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which is the hormone the brain makes to tell the thyroid to function. And it gives you a thyroxine, which is your total T4, which is the inactive form of thyroid hormone that your thyroid makes. It has to go and be converted in your liver and different places in your body into active thyroid hormone T3 before it can be used by your cells. So they don't even check that on that test. So all you get is a TSH, a total T4, and then you get some indexes that are calculated based on those numbers that really don't have a lot of meaning. That's it. So those tests came back normal. So why did they say it was normal and I actually had a thyroid problem? So this is what you need to understand, that normal is not optimal when it comes to thyroid function and anything else in your body. There's a difference between normal and optimal. So what is normal? So the lab has a little column, right? It'll say like TSH, and then on the right, it'll say reference range or normal. What does that mean? Where do they get those numbers from? So they get those numbers from the general population. They look at all the people in the US and they say, what's the average TSH level? So normal or reference range on the lab means what 95% of the population has. So they're comparing you to 95% of the population. Well, you can go to the mall and see that the majority of people are not optimally healthy, right? 60% of us are overweight or obese. Are we optimally healthy? No, we're not. So do you want to be compared to people who aren't optimally healthy is the question that I want to ask you. And any sane person I've talked to about this says one answer: no, I don't want to be told that I'm normal for a sick person But that's exactly what the lab is telling you. You're normal for a sick person. So every time you get your labs and you see that reference range, normal, this is what I want you to hear, the truth of what they're saying. You're normal for a sick person. You're normal for an obese person. You're normal for a non-optimally healthy person. I don't want to be compared to a non-healthy person, and neither do you. So when we do root cause resolution, we don't compare you to what the lab says is normal. We compare you to optimal values, what someone should optimally have at any age, because your thyroid should be great at every age. It doesn't matter what age you are. So we compare you to optimal levels, and those are different than normal levels. So this is why, one of the reasons why I created the Hormone Balance Mastermind is because regular doctors only do regular tests, and they read them for, are you normal for a sick person? And if you don't have a disease or dis-ease, they don't do anything for you, even though you've got all the symptoms. Now, you can even have optimal thyroid levels and still have low thyroid symptoms. What? Like you're going, why? How is that? You can have something called subclinical hypothyroidism, meaning the tests actually look great, but you have all the symptoms. And one way you can tell that is by doing a Barnes test, where you actually take your temperature on a daily basis. Because if you're low, your thyroid is your thermostat. It sets your body temperature, your metabolic rate, the rate at which you burn calories. And so you'll be cold is oftentimes one of the main symptoms. And so if your body temperature is consistently low, then that's a sign of low thyroid function. And you can have low thyroid, but have optimal tests. And that's not uncommon. Now, what typically causes that is cortisol problems. And this is why I say you've got to have all your hormones looked at. Don't go for this piecemeal, like, oh, just check your thyroid. No. You will never get where you want to be. It's a system that acts your 7 main hormones as your metabolic drivers to program all your cells on how do you burn fat and sugar for fuel? How do you make energy? So weight and fatigue. If you have weight problems and fatigue, you need to look at all your hormones. It looks at your immune system function and whether it's healthy or not. It looks at all of these things. So you want to get all the hormones done, and you don't just want a TSH. You need to have a full thyroid profile. So TSH, total T4 and free T4, total T3 and free T3. You need something called a reverse T3, which is a form of T3 that your body will make. So T3 is active thyroid hormone, but if you have particular issues, it'll make reverse T3, which is the opposite of T3, and it will sit on the receptors and block them. So even if you have great, rest of your thyroid looks great, if you don't check the reverse T3 and know that there's this blocking hormone keeping the healthy hormone from sitting on the receptors, well, you're just going to say, oh, my thyroid's fine, and you're going to be wrong. So you got to check the reverse T3. You also need to check your antibodies, thyroid peroxidase antibody and antithyroglobulin antibody. I call them TPO and ATA for short. And, regular doctors aren't going to do all that for you because it's not standard of care. It's not what they're taught. It's not what they're about. That's not how they do it. We talked a lot about that yesterday. I wasn't taught that. They weren't taught that. Doesn't mean they're bad people. They're good people and they care, but that their paradigm is what disease diagnosis do you have, and what drug do I need to give you, and what surgery do I need to do to get rid of your what symptom, right? That's what mainstream medicine is about. We need mainstream medicine, right? If I have a heart attack or break my leg, I want an emergency room to go to get care. But in terms of improving your health to be, your vitality to be the best that it can be throughout life, it does not do that. That's not what it's about. You tell your doctor, I can't sleep and I'm tired. What do they tell you? Oh, it's normal for your age. They might check like a TSH, or they might do a hemoglobin to see if you're anemic, but they don't really have answers to these issues that plague women at midlife and beyond, because they're not looking at your hormones, and your hormones is the juice in your system. And if you have no juice, you start becoming like a dried prune. Okay. It's a plum, and then it has no hormones, and it becomes a prune. That's what starts happening to you on the inside and the out. So skin, hair, nails, brain, everything. So you got to do the right test, and then you got to read them for optimal function. L. Russ did a great interview in the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit. We went through all the optimal values. You can find them anywhere on the internet. But more than that, you need someone who can guide you to, okay, now I know I got the right test. So we do the test in the Hormone Balance Mastermind, and now I've read them the right way. And now what? Well, that's the thing. You need wisdom. There's plenty of information, but you need wisdom. So with me, that was one of the first things I found, but thank God I had someone who knew to do all the hormones. So I was also progesterone deficient. I had low thyroid function. I also had testosterone deficiency, and I had a stage 3 cortisol because I did the salivary cortisol. So I knew that too. So is it your thyroid or is it menopause? I say yes, and. That's the answer. Yes, and, right? Is it perimenopause? Is it menopause? Is it thyroid? Is it cortisol? Is it adrenal fatigue? Is it an insulin problem? Yes, and is the answer. You have to look at all of this. It's a complete picture. To only look at one part is to miss the forest for the trees. And this is the thing that we humans, we like the thing. What's the one vitamin I need to take, right? And we want to search on the internet. I've got hair loss. What's the one vitamin I need? We're going to find a ton about biotin, and people are going to want to sell us biotin. And we're going to take these mega doses of biotin. And is our hair going to stop falling out? Maybe a little bit for a short period of time, but it's not going to fix it forever. Why? Because hair loss is not one vitamin, right? It's not one problem, but we humans are so much, I don't know where we like the quick fix. We like the one-shot wonders, and it's just not one thing. You know, it's just not. So it's doing all the things, and it starts with hormone balance because those are the communicators in your body. So is it menopause? Is it perimenopause? Is it my thyroid? Yes, and all of the above. It's a rare person. I've never seen anyone who has one hormone imbalance. Never. In over 10 years of doing this with thousands of women. It's never one. They're like ants at a picnic, right? You see one ant, what do you know? There are 100 more nearby, and you need to move your food. It's just how it works. So these are great questions. All right. Maribel says, I just begun taking testosterone and concerned about weight gain. On testosterone, not a thing. Testosterone causes weight loss. In fact, this is why men have such a less a problem with their weight than women, right? Look at the men's in your life, males in your life that you know, right? They can lose weight so much easier than we can. Why? Testosterone. So it is a thing to help you lose weight. So the Dutch Plus test, not a full thyroid or saliva, only Dutch Plus. So they was recommended based on this test. So yeah, so you need to get your thyroid checked, and you need to have someone who can counsel you on your adrenal glands and your dopamine and your neurotransmitters, right? It's never one thing. We can go chasing the one thing as much as we want, but if we don't really admit, like, okay, say you want to go to school and you're going to send your kid and you want to know what's the one thing they need to learn in grade school to be successful in life. Oh, math, that's what it is. And someone's going to tell you, oh, math is all they need to know. Okay, and you send your kid to school for math for all those years and they graduate and they're like, I can do calculus and I can do trigonometry and I can do algebra. Are they going to be successful in life? Heck no, right? Why? Because there's so many things you need to know that go into human development and cultivation of thought processes and thinking processes. So we humans, though, we still love a one-shot wonder. What's the one thing I need to do? And the truth is there is no one thing. And if anyone tells you it's one thing, you need to run the other way, because your body has so many inputs and so many outputs. So it's just not the one thing. There is no one vitamin, no one mineral, no one supplement. It is not estrogen or progesterone or thyroid. It's all of the things. So if you get anything from this, I want you to know that. All right, let's see what other questions we have. What tests are best done by a blood test? Well, hemoglobin A1C is a blood test. She mentions that. You can do hemoglobin, hematocrit, complete blood count, blood chemistries. But there's some things, the easier question is what can't be done with a blood test. And so iodine is not something you can properly check with a blood test. It has to be done a different way, and that's important for thyroid hormone. And your sex hormones and cortisol are fat-soluble hormones. We talked about this, I think it was Friday or Saturday, so if you missed it, go look at the live where I talked about that. Those sex hormones are made from cholesterol, which is animal fat, and that's oil, and blood is water, so you can't get a proper check of oil and water. So your sex hormones for sure. All right, here's somebody else who says, Dr. Karen, I recently started taking hormone injections of testosterone, also estradiol. I also take a capsule of progesterone, micronized 100 milligram and B12. What is your opinion on this? I am not a fan of injected hormones. They actually create hormone addicts. Yes, you can become addicted to estrogen and testosterone. Why is this? Because these steroid hormones stimulate your endorphin system. So in your endorphin system is, you've heard about runner's high, like they run a lot and they get that high feeling. Well, there's certain activities and substances that stimulate this internal morphine system in your body. Your body has its own morphine that it can secrete. And these sex hormones can secrete those. So when you take very high doses of these hormones, and when you inject hormone, you get really high doses very quickly. You stimulate your endorphins more than if you use them topically or in a pellet or a troche or a sublingual drop. And when I first came out of residency, what happened was there were some of the older docs who had been around for decades, and they used injected hormones. And what I would invariably find with their patients, is that they needed higher and higher levels of hormones to get the same effect. And they also wanted their shot sooner and sooner and sooner because they felt so good on them. And that was what really got me started. This is over 2 decades ago. I came out of residency. I really started thinking, I don't think these shots are the right way. And then I kind of had my own journey and my own health problems, and then went to fellowship training on this. And the truth is, pretty much there's no reason for any woman to be on injected testosterone or estrogen. And like I said, it creates these really high peaks and troughs that stimulate the endogenous endorphins, and most people end up on way too much. And the bottom line is, test, don't guess. I would pretty much guess that your doctor who put you on this is probably not schooled in the proper use of the Dutch test, is probably using blood tests which are inaccurate to dose you. And you're probably not on enough progesterone, but this is just me with my crystal ball of experience and wisdom. So I would caution you about what you are doing. But the test is king, ultimately. Are your levels optimized or not? And I'm not talking about blood tests. So someone says, empathic person to foods and chemicals, seeking help on a soul level. I'm not sure what the question is. Yes, your soul is important when it comes to healing your body. This is something that I help everyone to understand, right? It's not just about your meat and potatoes that you are, right? Your lump of flesh sitting on a chair. It's about your spirit and your soul and what you came here to express and what's yours to do. And if you don't answer that question in this lifetime, it shows up as health problems. So I would encourage you to make sure you're on your soul's purpose. How do I not feel like I am a crazy wife, mom with hot flashes? Well, hot flashes can make you feel like a crazy wife and mom, but the truth is because you have hormone imbalances causing them. So the hot flashes are like just the tip of the iceberg. It's a signal telling you something's wrong that you need to pay attention to. And hot flashes aren't always sex hormone imbalances. We women think that, but that's not true. Insulin problems can cause hot flashes. Cortisol problems can cause hot flashes. Thyroid problems can cause hot flashes. Toxicity can cause hot flashes. So it's not just sex hormones. But the bottom line is you need symptoms that your body has, whether it's I can't sleep, I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm tired, I can't lose weight, I'm get migraine headaches, I have irritable bowel and heartburn. Whatever the symptoms are, that's your body's way of speaking to you and telling you, hey, something's wrong. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. I'm trying to tell you something. And when you don't listen, what does it do? Start screaming. And it gets louder and it gets louder until you get, so those are like the little pebbles and then the bigger rocks. And then I say you get the boulders. When you don't do something and you don't listen, you get a boulder. What's a boulder? Cancer, lupus, multiple sclerosis, or like for me, it was getting thrown off a horse and breaking my foot so bad they said, we don't know if you're ever going to walk again. Those are the boulders. When you don't listen to the pebbles or the rocks, you get the bigger rocks, and then you get the boulders. So symptoms are not, what drug do I need to get rid of this symptom? I have hot flashes. Give me a drug, right? It's not, I can't sleep. Give me a drug. We talked about that the other day. I think it was Saturday. Did we talk about sleep and how that's mainstream? And that's what we've been socialized to believe. We're supposed to look to our healthcare providers to give us. Give me a pill, doc, so I get rid of this symptom. And then when we get rid of the symptom, we say, success. I don't have that symptom anymore. That's awesome. That doctor's amazing. Meanwhile, inside, your body's like, no. Because you've got to fix the reason why you can't sleep, the reason why you can't lose weight, the reason why you're losing your hair, the reason why you have, gastritis, because that problem is still going on. Even though you're taking Ambien and you're knocked out, that problem is still causing other problems that are affecting your immune system function, whether you get sick or not, whether you get cancer or not down the line. So you got to listen to these little pebbles, hot flash, hot flash. It's a signal something's wrong. Your body's telling you something's wrong, something's wrong. Do something, pay attention, and start listening to what is your body needing and, getting your hormones looked at, because hormones are really, that's the communicators in our body that tell all your cells what to do. What to do if all hormones are low? Yes, July would be good. Thank you. Yes, we're thinking about restarting the Hormone Balance Mastermind in July if we have people who are wanting it. Like, how could your life improve if all your hormones were balanced and you could sleep and lose weight and have good cognition and being in a better mood? So if that could benefit you, let us know. And if you didn't submit your one hormone thing question to our questionnaire, it's anonymous. You don't have to put any email or anything. Go to the link on whatever channel you're watching this on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and submit your question, because I'm going live every day at 1 p.m. Eastern answering them. So here was another one. What to do if all hormones are low? Yes, July would be good. So if all hormones are low, you need help. You need resuscitation, right? This is the other thing that pains me for us ladies, is that we think we have to figure this out ourselves. We are literally all over Google in the middle of the night. What do I do if all my hormones are low? Like, what do I do? Why are we doing this? Because our regular doctors aren't trained in the art and science of hormone balancing. So we know they don't have the answer, because we can't sleep and they just give us an Ambien to knock us out. But we know, because we've heard on podcasts, maybe on my podcast, maybe someone else's, that there's a reason you can't sleep and you need to get at the reason. But we go to our doctor and they're like, oh, never mind all about that. Just take the pill, right? But we're like, wait, my friend told me she had salivary cortisol and she told me she had her thyroid checked. And they're like, oh, don't worry, we don't do that, right? So why are we on Google in the middle of the night? Because we know that our doctors don't know this. It's not their fault. They're not bad people. It's just how we're trained, or rather not trained. So you're on Google. You're going to Dr. Google trying to figure out, why can't I sleep? Why can't I lose weight? What's wrong with me here? What's wrong with me there? And so if all your hormones are low, you need to find someone with the expertise to help you. because it's crazy that we think we're supposed to figure all this out. I've seen women bring their daughters into me because they want their daughter to get this expertise and help and check their hormones. Sometimes the girls are real young, like grade school or high school, and they don't do this for themselves. We think we have to figure everything out for ourselves. Sure, the other people can get the expertise in our family, but I've got to figure this out with Dr. Google. No, you need someone who can help guide you. That's why I created the mastermind. Because after the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit, I had people reaching out to me from all over the world. United States, all states, Australia, Europe, Canada. I need help with this. And that's why I created the Hormone Balance Mastermind, so people could do this from wherever they are in the US. Unfortunately, we can't help people right now outside the US, because even in the US, navigating the different states is a thing. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do that outside the US. But you don't have to figure this out yourself, ladies. You got to find someone who can help you. Me or someone like me with the training that I've had, you need to find someone. So I don't know if you guys have been able to see this on Instagram, because the whole time my screen has steady been going, pause due to poor connection, pause due to poor connection. But I do see my Facebook peeps and my YouTube peeps, and I'm so glad that you joined me. If you found this useful, give me a shout out, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up, give me a wave. Let me know. I don't want to feel like I'm here just talking to talk. But I do love your feedback. And I've gotten so many wonderful comments on the One Hormone questionnaire that you do find this valuable. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining me. I will talk with you tomorrow when we are going to dive into cortisol, the stress hormone. Thanks so much. Have a great day.